This conference will now be recorded.
So the first one-liner is which you can use in many examples, many questions. पहला है greater multipolarity needs more multilateralism. First one-liner is greater multipolarity needs more multilateralism. अब इसमें दो वर्ड्स हैं, पहला वर्ड है मल्टीपोलैरिटी, दूसरा वर्ड है मल्टीलेटरलिज्म. What is multipolarity and what is multilateralism? Multipolarity is when you say that the world have many leaders. The world does not have one leader like इससे पहले होता था कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ यूएसए जो है वो लीड करता था, तो एक वो हेगेमोनिक लीडरशिप थी, ठीक है. उसके बाद उसके भी थोड़ा पहले हुआ कि यूएसए और यूएसएसआर दो बड़े लीडर्स थे, ठीक है. यानी कि वर्ड बाइपोलर हुआ, यानी कि वर्ड के दो सेंटर्स हुए, दो इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड के दो इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटर्स हुए, ठीक है, एक यूएसए और एक यूएसएसआर, ठीक है. तो वो चीज है. और उसको हम बोलेंगे बाइपोलर वर्ड कि भाई वर्ड में दो सेंटर्स थे. फिर हमने कहा यूनिपोलर वर्ड जब सिर्फ और सिर्फ यूएसए था. और अब हम कहते हैं मल्टीपोलर वर्ड, ठीक है, जहां पर इंडिया है, चाइना है, रशिया है, ब्राजील है, यूएसए है, जर्मनी है, जहां पर अलग अलग प्लेयर्स हैं, मतलब मल्टीट्यूड ऑफ प्लेयर्स हैं और बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स दुनिया के किस तरह से वर्ड चलेगा, किस तरीके से वर्ड ऑर्डर होगा, उसको शेप करते हैं. लेकिन इस मल्टीपोलैरिटी के युग में एक बहुत बड़ी हाईलाइट होती है, क्या? नॉट एवरी प्लेयर विल हैव सेम साइज एंड स्ट्रेंथ. तो मल्टीपोलर वर्ड जो हमारा है उसमें हो सकता है कि कंट्रीज का इंपैक्ट, कंट्रीज का साइज, कंट्रीज की इकोनॉमी वो अलग अलग हो, ठीक है. जैसे एक टाइम पर होता था कि यूएसए और यूएसएसआर दो बड़े प्लेयर्स होते थे और लार्जली जो है वो बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर्स दो, लगभग सेम साइज, सेम उसके दो बड़े प्लेयर्स होते थे. बट आज क्या है, आज यू वुड फाइंड अ इंडिया, अ जापान, ठीक है, मे बी चाइना, ठीक है, एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया. तो कहने का मतलब क्या है कि आज जो है वो दुनिया मल्टीपोलर तो है, आज जो है वो अलग अलग कंट्रीज लीड तो कर रहे हैं, बट ये भी ध्यान रखना होगा कि अलग अलग कंट्रीज लीड कर रहे हैं लेकिन उनका साइज, उनका उनकी एस्पिरेशंस, उनका वर्ल्ड अरीना पर इम्पैक्ट भी अलग अलग है. तो इससे होता क्या है, होता यह है कि पहले होता था कि आपके वर्ल्ड में एक या दो लीडर्स होते थे कि यूएसए है या आ, आ, दो प्लेयर्स हैं, यूएसए या यूएसएसआर है. जब सिर्फ एक बड़ा प्लेयर है या दो बड़े प्लेयर हैं और वही पूरी दुनिया में चीजों को इम्पैक्ट कर रहे हैं, शेप कर रहे हैं, तो व्हाई डू यू नीड एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लाइक यूनाइटेड नेशंस, डब्ल्यूटीओ, डब्ल्यूएचओ और यूनेस्को और एनी अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, यूएनएससी वगैरह? क्यों? क्योंकि आपको जो है वो, ये तो ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है ना जिसमें सभी का रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. ये तो ऐसे मल्टीलेटरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जिसमें से सभी कंट्रीज का रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, ठीक है. तो जब प्लेयर ही एक होगा या दो होंगे तो उस केस में व्हाई यू नीड मल्टीलेटरलिज्म, आई मीन व्हाई एज इन की आप बना लेंगे इंस्टीट्यूशंस. मल्टीलेटरलिज्म का मतलब ये है जहां पर बहुत सारे कंट्रीज, जिन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में बहुत सारे कंट्रीज होते हैं, जैसे यूनाइटेड नेशंस है, डब्ल्यूटीओ है, इस तरह के जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जहां पर बहुत सारे कंट्रीज होते हैं जो एक तरीके से आपके वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर को इंपैक्ट करते हैं, उसको कहते हैं मल्टीलेटरलिज्म, ठीक है, उसको कहते हैं मल्टीलेटरलिज्म. तो ध्यान हमको क्या रखना है, ध्यान हमें ये रखना है कि जब हम कहते हैं कि बाइपोलर वर्ड है, जब हम कहते हैं कि यूनिपोलर वर्ड है, उस केस में जब एक कंट्री या दो कंट्री लीड कर रहे हैं तो वी डू नॉट नीड दैट मच मल्टीलेटरलिज्म. क्यों? हम भले ही लोगों को बुला लें, हम भले ही लोगों को मेंबरशिप दे दें, बट एंड ऑफ द डे ज्यादा डोमिनेंट कौन होगा, वो एक या दो प्लेयर ही ज्यादा डोमिनेट कर रहे होंगे. लेकिन जब मल्टीपोलरिटी होती है, जब कोई 10 कंट्रीज, 20 कंट्रीज, 25 कंट्रीज मिल करके जो है वो रूल शेप कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, जब मल्टीपोलरिटी होती है, जब कोई 20 कंट्रीज, 25 कंट्रीज मिल करके जो है वो रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर बना रहे हैं, और वो ग्लोबल ऑर्डर, ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर को शेप कर रहे हैं, उस केस में दे वुड हैव कॉम्प्रोमाइजेस, दे वुड हैव कन्वर्जेंसेस, दे वुड हैव disputes, they would not agree upon something. वहां पर to tackle those differences, to pacify people, you would need multilateralism. ठीक है, तो पहली चीज हमको जो इंपॉर्टेंट है वो क्या ध्यान रखनी है कि मल्टीलेटरलिज्म की जरूरत। मल्टीलेटरलिज्म का मतलब क्या होता है? मतलब बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स को आपने टेबल पर बैठाया और उनसे बातचीत करनी चालू की। मल्टीलेटरलिज्म का मतलब क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स को आपने टेबल पर बैठाला और उनसे बातचीत करनी चालू की। व्हाई यू नीड इट? क्यों आपको सभी से बात करने की जरूरत है? अगर एक ही डोमिनेंट प्लेयर होता तो आप एक से ही बात करते ना। आज सबसे बात करने की जरूरत है बिकॉज यू हैव बिकम मोर, हाउ टू से, you have started giving more importance to these countries जो पहले बहुत ज्यादा लीडरशिप पोजीशन में नहीं थे या जो पहले डोमिनेंट नहीं थे। यानी कि today there has been proliferation of this leadership attitude among other countries also। आज हम वर्ल्ड की लीडरशिप शेयर करने की बात कर रहे हैं, एक टाइम पर हम वर्ल्ड को लीड करने की बात करते थे। हम एज इन, एक टाइम पर यूएसए कहता था कि आई एम द ग्लोबल लीडर, एक टाइम पर यूएसए कहता था कि आई एम द ग्लोबल लीडर, बट टुडे व्हाट वी से दैट नो, many countries will now share the leadership of the world there, which means now there won't be a one leader of the world, but there would be many sharing, shouldering the responsibility. That is why we say when there are many leaders, there would be differences, there would be disputes, there would be divisions. So to give a platform to tackle these differences and divisions and to build upon the convergences that they have between them, among themselves, we need such institutions where everybody can sit down and say, let's talk about these issues, let's find a middle path, and then let's go ahead. Yes or no? यहां तक बात समझ में आ रही है या नहीं आ रही है?
आ रही है सर।
ठीक है, so my first line was greater multipolarity needs more multilateralism. Greater multipolarity needs more multilateralism. Multipolarity and multilateralism are not the same thing. Multipolarity means that your world is led by many countries and not the one. That is multipolarity, not multi, right? And multilateralism means that you have institutions where everybody is a member and where you can sit down and talk. Multilateralism refers to institutional leadership of the world. Which kind of institutions you have, that is multilateralism. If you have an institution like United Nations, WTO to tackle the dispute, that is multilateralism. And multipolarity is the nature of the leadership of the world, how your world is fundamentally. It is led by United States, then it is a unipolar world. If it is led by US and China, then it is a bipolar world. But if there is leadership of India, Brazil, Russia, Japan, Israel, then the world is a multipolar world. So multipolar is about leadership of the country, how many country leads them, and multilateralism is the institutional thing, which what kind of institutions you have built to take the world order forward, to settle the disputes among countries and to build on the consensus and convergences between the countries. अब ठीक है?
Understood, sir.
So when you are writing about why we need multilateralism, you will say that if India advocates for a multipolar world, if India sees a chance to lead the world, if India sees a chance to share the leadership of the world, then we must make a case. Then we must make a case for stronger multilateralism where every player have equal voices, where third world countries have equal representation, and institutions which are democratic, A, transparent, B, accountable, C, and representative, D. These four things your institutions must have. These four things your multilateral institutions must have. And if they lack these things, then we must reform multilateralism. We must not abandon multilateralism, because if we abandon multilateralism, there would be no consensus on the world. There can't be. You cannot build on good things. You cannot settle disputes. You cannot talk. You don't have platforms to engage with people. That is why multilateralism must survive in a multipolar world, but with tweaks, with reforms, and with many other smaller nitty-gritties that you need to change according to the players and situations and their demand. So there is a prevalent question जो हर साल आता है about multilateralism, या किसी एक multilateral institution को दे देते हैं, जैसे उन्होंने last year सवाल पूछा कि यूनेस्को क्यों जो है वो नीचे जा रहा है या क्यों खत्म हो रहा है, ठीक है। तो वहां पर भी हमको जो है वो स्टार्टिंग में या एंड में we can use this line कि in an increasingly multipolar world we need multilateralism or a renewed multilateralism or reformed multilateralism, ठीक है। तो इस चीज को ध्यान रखिए। श्रेया, कशिश कहाँ है? सुयोधन, तुम्हारी दोस्त मिली कहाँ है? कोई और भी नहीं दिख रहा है क्या? चौहान साहब है, लिपिका है, बाला, ठीक है। तो the first line was greater multipolarity needs more multilateralism. Second, and this is my favorite one, by the way, I am east, I am west, I am north, I am south, I am universal, I am India. I repeat, I am east, I am west, I am north, I am south, I am universal, I am India. Can you understand the enormous amount of cultural capital that is behind this sentence? Sir, what were the four factors for multipolar world which you just shared? Transparent, representative, deliberative, और एक और कोई था, याद नहीं है, क्योंकि ये मतलब डेमोक्रेटिक है। अच्छा, ठीक है, अकाउंटेबल, हाँ ठीक है। ध्यान रखिए ये क्योंकि ये सब कहीं मतलब कुछ सामने है नहीं, कुछ देखा नहीं जा रहा है, तो आप कोशिश करें कि सुने, अगर छूट जाए तो आप रिकॉर्डिंग से एक बार बाद में रिवाइज कर लें। तो मैं आपसे सवाल पूछ रहा था कि क्या आप लोगों को अंदाजा है कि इस लाइन के पीछे कितनी बड़ी कल्चरल कैपिटल है, कितना बड़ा कल्चरल इतिहास और उससे निकलने वाला कॉन्फिडेंस इस लाइन के पीछे? आई ऑफन see people asking कि अरे यार ये इतने अच्छे वन लाइनर्स जो है वो कैसे आ जाते हैं लोगों के दिमाग में। ये बाय द वे दिस ऑल इज फ्रॉम द राइटर ऑफ द बुक डॉन 3, जिनको हम कहते हैं है। इस सरकार में 4 डॉन हैं, ठीक है, 3 विजिबल डॉन, एक इनविजिबल डॉन। बड़े भगवान, बिल्कुल ठीक है। बाय द वे डॉन का मतलब होता है समवन रेस्पेक्टेबल, ठीक है। डॉन इज अ मैक्सिकन वर्ड, इसका मतलब होता है समवन रेस्पेक्टेबल। तो ही इज द थर्ड डॉन in the government. However, do you understand this line that I am east, I am west, I am north, I am south, I am universal, I am India? Can you think कि आप ये वन लाइनर कोई एक ऐसा बंदा मार सके जिसको अपने कल्चर का नॉलेज ना हो, इंडियन कल्चर, जिसको अपने कल्चर पर एक सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंग और सेंस ऑफ प्राइड ना हो? क्या वो बंदा कभी ये लाइन, ये वन लाइनर उसके दिमाग में आ सकता है क्या? हम मुनि कणाद की परंपरा से हैं। वो मुनि कणाद जो कहते हैं कि हर कण में भगवान है, वो मुनि कणाद जो हर कण में भगवान है कहने के बाद ग्रेविटी एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, कहने के बाद में मॉलिक्यूलर एनालिसिस को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, और सब एटॉमिक थ्योरी या सब पार्टिकल थ्योरी जिसको आप कहते हैं, जिसमें से कि ये एक एटम भी जो है वो इलेक्ट्रॉन, प्रोटॉन और इसमें डिवाइडेड होता है, जो इनकी बात करते हैं, वो मुनि कणाद की परंपरा से आने वाले लोग हैं हम, जो कहते हैं कि हर कण में भगवान है। भगवान का मतलब ये कि एवरी पार्टिकल इज अ लिविंग बीइंग। जगदीश चंद्र बसु का नाम सुना है ना, जिन्होंने जहर पी लिया था, ठीक है, वो इसी परंपरा पर विश्वास करने वाले थे, ठीक है, कि एवरीथिंग इज लिविंग, ठीक है, और उनकी डेथ ना होती तो वो ये भी प्रूव करने वाले थे कि इवन मेटल्स हैव सम टेंडेंसीज ऑफ लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म। खैर, तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि when you say this line, मतलब every time I read this line I get goosebumps that I am east, I am west, I am north, I am south, I am universal, I am India. What it tells you? It tells you, number one, about firstly India's role in global politics. Number one, that we engage from Kosovo, Moldova, Malta, Finland, Sweden to Brazil to 51 countries of the, we engage with all 54 countries of Africa, but we have with 51 countries of Africa, we have development programs running. With 51 countries of Africa, we have development programs running. अच्छा, कितने लोगों को लगता है कि ये बहुत छोटी बात है? कितने लोगों को लगता है कि अफ्रीका के 54 कंट्रीज में से 51 कंट्रीज के साथ में, 51 कंट्रीज के साथ में डेवलपमेंट पार्टनरशिप होना, उनके साथ में डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम रन करना छोटी बात है? छोटी। We could not imagine this before 6-7 years, right? We nearly forgot Africa. Yeah. So the first thing is that the kind of values India advocates for, from east to west to north to south, the kind of values we advocate can go with any part of the world, and we feel comfortable with any part of the world in dealing with in political dealings and in cultural to cultural dealings, because we are so rich of a civilization, because we have successfully assimilated everyone from the Baptist Christians to the Salafi Muslims to the Jains to the Bauds to the Sufis to the Jews, everyone, you just name it, right? We have assimilated every sect, every ethnicity, every culture so successfully that we have kind of become universal. We have values, we have shared values, we have common cultural feelings with nearly everybody, right? तो एक तो ये है कि इंडिया, द काइंड ऑफ सिविलाइजेशन दैट इंडिया इज, तो उसके बाद इंडिया को वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती है किसी के साथ भी डील करने में. नंबर 2, व्हेन यू से दिस लाइन, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, यू आर demolishing, you are demolishing the artificial constructs of the east and west and north and south, and you are truly integrating the word into a big sort of geographical unit. The kind of universality that Indic thought proposes, that already makes this case for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. ठीक है, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, और है क्या है वसुधैव कुटुंबकम? यही तो है, आई एम यूनिवर्सल. So whenever you make a case that India has been a reluctant player in the globalization, no, India has been a reluctant player in globalization. If you look post 1947, India has been leading and dominating the globalist tendencies since time immemorial. For the first 2000 years, we were the country that was leading the globalization. We were the country that had 50%, 60% of the entire GDP of the world. We were the country who was integrated with most of the nations by land and sea routes. And there are evidence for everything. We were truly globalized. We were truly globalized. And globalized in sense of trade, globalized in sense of culture, because एनसीईआरटी आपकी जो 9th क्लास की ज्योग्राफी का पहला चैप्टर है, वो क्या कहती है? वो कहती है कि भैया इंडिया ने न्यूमेरिक सिस्टम्स दिए अरब को, ठीक है, और वहां से जो है वो जो आर्किटेक्चर का मिनारेट सिस्टम यहाँ पर आया वो वहां से आया, ठीक है. और ग्रीक और इन सब लोगों पर भी हमारा बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस रहा, हमने इनके साथ बहुत ट्रेड किया और थोड़ा बहुत चीजें इनसे भी हमने सीखी. So we were a country who believed in sharing knowledge and sharing wisdom and prospering together. We were truly globalized, man. यहां तक बात समझ आ रही है? कैसा चल रहा अभी तक? ठीक चल रहा है? ज्यादा कम तो नहीं हो रहा? नहीं, अभी तो तुम लोग नए हो, सोनम हो गई, वर्तिका लोग हो गई, तो तुम लोग तो भी धीरे धीरे भी जानोगे, ठीक है. India is the torch bearer of this civilization, which has always advocated for liberal values, truly liberal values, listening to other. Bahudha Vipra Vadanti. और फिर वो एक श्लोक है जिसको मैं बोल रहा हूं, नाना देशा नाना वेशा, ऐसे करके एक श्लोक है ऋग्वेद का, जिसमें वो कहते हैं कि भारत क्या है। भारत एक ऐसी लैंड है जहां पर अलग अलग तरीके के कपड़े पहनने वाले लोग, अलग अलग तरीके की भाषा बोलने वाले लोग, अलग अलग तरीके के फेथ्स को मानने वाले लोग जो है वो एक साथ रहते हैं, ठीक है, वो भारत है। So India has Indian civilization, Indic thought has always been accommodative. ठीक है, right? क्या है? फिर so the second explanation that I'm East, I'm West, I am North, I am South, I am universal, I am India, relates to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, relates to the liberal values that India as a civilization always held strongly, advocated for strongly. It indicates towards an India which was trading from Makran to Burma, from Greek to the Ottomans, everywhere. हाँ बिल्कुल, हिंदी संस्कृत सब कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, उसका अर्थ समझाना होता है बस। सो एक तो ये है। अगला, when we say this line, I am East, I am West, I am North, I am South, I am universal. So there was a lady in a discussion from Poland, and her question was that in our childhood we were told that you are from East and you are Easterners. It was so embarrassing for us to hear this, but now Poland is considered as West and we are very proud of it. I was like, are you stupid? What the hell you want? You want the level of being West at the cost of your own country's culture, heritage, and everything? You just want to be West. You just want to be called as Westerners. And this statement itself tells you about the sheer negligence she has, the blatant disregard she has for her own country's culture, own country's struggles. See how a country can progress if the citizens of that country constantly wants to perceive as someone else. They always perceive some other country as higher from their country, and they always want to भैया वहां को जाने का रास्ता मिल जाए, या उनको कुछ नहीं, लोग हमको बोल ही दे, ओ यू अमेरिकन। अरे भैया काहे, क्यों, अबे कौन है वो? 600 साल पहले, 400 साल पहले निशान नहीं था उनका भाई इस दुनिया में, है कौन है? So this stupidity where we have sort of labeled West with something that is very मतलब बिल्कुल छत फाड़ दिया उसने और कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज हो गई है। This is the West that has destroyed generations in many countries, from Libya to Iraq to Afghanistan, you name it. This is the West that has promoted dictators like Idi Amin, Ayub Khan in Pakistan. This is the West that nearly came to secure the Bangladesh, secure the eastern Pakistan for Pakistanis, and to support the rapes, the ethnic cleansing, the mass murdering that was already going on. What are you talking about? Yeah, कैसे? क्यों वेस्ट क्यों बनना है? So this construct is demolished by this very line, because what it says is that we are universal, that we have values of every possible geographical construct that you can think of, that we are so rich, we are so accommodative in our thought, right? तो इस चीज को ध्यान रखिएगा. फिर हाँ लिपिका.
मतलब अभी जैसे स्वीडन में अटैक्स हुए और यूएस में जब 9/11 हुआ और ये सब चीजें, जब टेरर अटैक्स पेरिस में 2015 में जो भी हुआ, ये सब टेरर अटैक्स के बाद मतलब हम कह सकते हैं क्या कि वेस्ट जो इट इज गेटिंग मोर इस्लामोफोबिक एंड मोर माइग्रेंट रेजिस्टेंट देन इट वाज यूज्ड टू बिफोर.
हाँ, क्यों नहीं, ठीक है. And it is not about Islamophobia. It is not about Islamophobic, but it is about calling a spade, right? It is about that if you find someone who is involved in such kind of activities, punish him with most severe punishment that you can imagine. Because it is only then that you would create some deterrences. But what happens is, in the name of minority and I don't know what, people keep protecting these people. You know, people were defending Sarjil Imam, a person who is openly called for disintegrating India, and many web portals took interview of him. So, from being skeptical, I can't get enough of this line. मैं बार बार मैं इसी लाइन पे वापस आना चाह रहा हूँ. I am East, I am West, I am North, I am South, I am Universal, I am India. So suppose there is this debate of who will lead the world, or there is this debate of multipolarity, or there is this debate of engaging. See, why India is seen now as a good leader? Because the kind of world we are witnessing today, जहां पर एक अफ्रीका है इसमें 54 कंट्रीज हैं जो धीरे धीरे राइज कर रहे हैं, कुछ उसमें लीस्ट डेवलप्ड हैं, कुछ डेवलपिंग हैं. और जहां पर डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज का जो ज्यादा बोलबाला है और लगातार जो है वो डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज अपनी इकोनॉमी बढ़ा रहे हैं और लगातार वो वर्ल्ड को डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। इन दीज कंडीशंस where the most of these countries are from third world, which have seen imperialism, which have seen colonization, in these kind of situations, someone like India, which have seen poverty, जिसने गरीबी देखी है, जिसने imperialism देखा है, मतलब colonialism देखा है, जिसने उपनिवेशवाद देखा है, ब्रिटेन की हम कॉलोनी थे, someone like India is best suited to lead these countries because of the shared experiences we have. We can say, look, we have reduced our poverty to bare minimum level. You can do it too if you do these things. We have faced imperialism. We know its consequences. So you can do this to get over from that dogma or that past of imperialism. So why India is able to now engage with any country from an African country to a United States? Because we are so rich in experiences and we are so rich in our thoughts, we are so rich in the way that we have done things. Yes, there are problems. It is not that everything is rosy, but still, right? So when you say that I am East, I am West, I am North, I am South, I am Universal, it shows your willingness to engage with any player, irrespective of from which geographical part you come, right? Number two, this line also tells you about the future, about what India can do for the world. That India can now architect something like Indian Solar Alliance, in which it has countries from everywhere. It means that this value, this Indian value, can help India in building institutions or reforming institutions like United Nations and others to make them more representative, democratic, accountable and open. तो वो चीज ध्यान रखिए, ठीक है? फिर next one, from being skeptical climate change acceptors to leading the initiatives. So 5 years ago, we were only talking climate change. We were only chest thumping climate change about being an environment friendly and blah blah blah. But now we have taken a strong position on the Paris Climate Change Agreement. We have started International Solar Alliance to use the solar energy and reduce carbon footprint. We are now leading the initiatives. We are now leading the initiatives. We are now trying to develop coalitions that are that are beneficial to us as a nation and which can then contribute to the sustainable development goals of the world, right? तो एक टाइम पर जहां पर हम क्लाइमेट चेंज को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते थे, वहां से और आज का जो टाइम है जहां पर हम क्लाइमेट चेंज के इनिशिएटिव्स को लीड कर रहे हैं, जहां पर क्लाइमेट ट्रैकर जो है उसमें ये कहा जा रहा है कि इंडिया इज वेल ऑन कोर्स टू अचीव 2 डिग्री टारगेट ऑफ पेरिस क्लाइमेट एग्रीमेंट, और जहां पर ये बोला जा रहा है कि इंडिया हैज बिकम अ रेस्पॉन्सिबल क्लाइमेट चेंज मिटिगेटर। ठीक है, तो वी हैव केम अ लॉन्ग वे ऑन दैट। Then what Ministry of External Affairs has done? See, the world is now changing fast. ग्रेटा दीदी तुम्हारी क्या ही बोल रहे हैं। The world is changing fast. And what caused these changes? You know, think. What caused these changes? What accelerates these changes? What makes these changes happen so fast at so rapid pace? What is that thing? बताइए। आप लोग बिल्कुल चुप्पे हो जाते हैं, तो हम नहीं बोलेंगे, ठीक है। Globalization itself is accelerated due to technology, right? Because there are every day you see a new kind of technology, a new form of technology coming up. So that has actually accelerated the speed of change, right? Yeah. So here comes the best line. Technology is itself a strategic capability. Technology is itself a strategic capability, but application of technology has strategic consequences. Listen to the line again. Technology is itself a strategic capability. Think about nuclear weapons. Think about ballistic missiles. Think about Rafale. Isn't it a strategic capability? It creates fear, it creates deterrence, it gives you leverage in the region. And that is why strategically you are placed a bit superior to other your neighbors and your enemies. So these kind of technologies The everyday new things are coming up on the artificial intelligence or networking. So every day you see new things coming up on artificial intelligence and networking, which ultimately leads to a better world. But technology is not so rosy thing, because technology is ultimately a means to achieve your own goal. If you use that means with constructive purposes, then it can give you great dividends. But if you use technology for ill purposes, for uh, destructive things, then it also can, it cuts both ways. एक कविता बचपन में पढ़ी होगी, विज्ञान है तलवार, फेंक दे इसे स्मृति के पार, ऐसे करके एक कविता थी, भी पूरी नहीं ध्यान आ रही है, ठीक है। यदि विज्ञान है तलवार करके एक कविता थी। कहने का मतलब है कि टेक्नोलॉजी कट्स बोथ वेज. So yes, technology is a strategic capability. It makes you stronger in strategic warfare, in a strategic means. Suppose if you have a very good say system where you can actually ठीक है। तो क्या बोल रहा था मैं? Think about if you have a program where you can sort of decode the every terrorist message that they are sending, where you can put on surveillance every such rowdy element, then you can actually avert every attack on your country. If you are strategically superior in technology in battlefield, say you have better night vision glasses, you have good guns, you have good mortars, you have good artillery, you have good missiles, you have good aircraft, fighter jets. That is a huge strategic capability. So every nation, Sir, may I ask why we are discussing this book? Why not standard book or NCERT or anything which we can relate directly to syllabus? Because everybody in the world are going to read the NCERT or the standard book or everything. Yesterday we discussed about NCERTs, right? Yesterday morning we discussed about 9th NCERTs, how to read them, how to make notes of it. The video will be sent to you, but exam is not just about NCERTs. Mains is not just about NCERTs. This book is being discussed because it carries significant amount of weightage, 150 marks in optional and 70 to 80 marks in your GS and 125 marks in your optional. Sorry, 125 marks in your essay. So we are discussing this book to make us enrich with the content, to learn how to write essays, how to bind the essays with classical examples, and how to have good phraseology, good one-liners to use in mains. Mains is a different ball game. You have to fight with brilliant 3,000, brilliant time, let's say 5,000 people. 13,000, 11,000 लोग select होते हैं, but brilliant 5,000 people for the 800 seats. And you are not going to go far with NCRTs or standard books because everybody is reading that. So weekend is for content enrichment. Weekend is to take your content on a level which very few people will attain. That is why we are discussing this book, right? Weekdays are for the standard books and NCRT and wo jhola chapa wale tariqe. Okay, that is important. I'm not saying that, but that is on the weekdays, right? कोई और सवाल किसी को बुक से रिलेटेड? हाँ, जिन लोगों की ये डायरेक्टली पहली क्लास है, you can find it difficult to relate with syllabus, but जिन लोगों को मैंने syllabus रटा दिया है उनको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी. जिन्होंने पिछले syllabus पर पिछले वाले previous year के क्वेश्चन पेपर्स देखे हैं उनको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी. सूर्यपुत्र कर्ण बोलो. ये बाद में, it would digress from the topic. ठीक है? खैर, तो the next line is technology is itself a strategic capability, but application of technology has strategic consequences. Suppose you apply any technology, right? Suppose you apply, say, ballistic missiles or nuclear missiles, or you apply any surveillance program on spies, then it has strategic consequences. Other person can raise some issues relating to that. कि भाई आप क्या कर रहे हो, ठीक है? But because technology is the new area of warfare, because technology is new area of warfare, which means that we must embrace ourselves for this. And it is for this purpose only that Ministry of External Affairs have introduced technology division. So now GS paper 3, science and technology and Indian experiences in science and technology, how that relates to GS paper 2, foreign policy. How indigenous technology upgradation will make you stronger in front of the global players. It will bolster India's position in front of global players. जैसे कि हम तेजस को एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, कतर को, ठीक है, हम जो है वो तेजस को एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, जो हमारा एयरक्राफ्ट था, कतर को. क्या हुआ उससे? हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक कैपेबिलिटीज दुनिया के सामने है, हमारी ग्लोबल पोजीशन स्ट्रेंथन हुई, ठीक है. तो दिस लाइन and there would be essay on see, अब क्योंकि नया काल है कोरोना का, ठीक है, जैसे ये जो विकास पूछ रहे हैं, कोविड का टाइम है, ठीक है, हाँ बिल्कुल कोविड का टाइम है, और यूपीएससी किस बात के लिए जाना जाता है? डायनामिज्म के लिए. जैसे जैसे आपके आसपास की चीजें बदलेंगी यूपीएससी बदलेगी, ठीक है. तो कोविड के टाइम पर वो आपसे टेक्नोलॉजी का हर जगह से इंटरफेस पूछेंगे, क्योंकि generally spaces are becoming digital. So in the new normal, you would find technology increasingly being used everywhere. You would find technology being increasingly used everywhere. You would find technology shaping dialogues between international players. Like हमारे और फ्रांस के साथ हुआ था about Rafale, ठीक है. So technology is now important. It is itself strategic capability. So for that, we have created a technology division in MEA to leverage technology as an important part of foreign policy and global study. Right? यहाँ तक ठीक चल रहा है, बाकी लोग जनता right? Now let's go to one of the most important points. हमारे यहाँ बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ चल रहा है, right? GS paper 1 women related issues, GS paper 2 education and health, ठीक है. But sustainable development goal, gender inequalities, reducing gender inequalities, and upholding preamble, giving dignity, ठीक. ये 4 चीजें तो हम कर पाते, ठीक. नंबर 5. So when we domestically invest on girl education, when we give more girls to the job market, we are contributing in achieving sustainable development goals, which means that India has an important role to play in achieving the world of tomorrow. The India of tomorrow will clearly shape the world of tomorrow. Yes or no? If India achieves sustainable development goals, the world will achieve sustainable development goals. The success of world in achieving sustainable development goals will depend on India's success and India's growth story. That is why we are doing Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. We are doing financial inclusion. We are opening account of bank accounts. We are making women as head of rural household. We are trying to empower farmer to sell to everybody in the open market. We are talking about climate change. We are working on climate change. We are working on holistic education. What we are doing, we are contributing we are contributing to a word order that will achieve its sustainable development goals in 2030, the target that was set for that year. So whenever you say about foreign policy, do not forget to integrate rest of the things. Everything is related to foreign policy. Your national education policy is related to foreign policy. Why? Because when you would create a human resource for Industrial Revolution 4.0, only then you can contribute, you can integrate yourself in the global value chains. When you have a multilinguistic person, when you have a person who is very comfortable with coding, only then, it is only then India can contribute more in the economic global value chains. So I can go on and on and on about it, right? But you need to understand that from sanitation to women education to advocating for increasing the marriage age of women, everything relates to sustainable development goals. Everything that government is doing, affordable housing, water conservation, solar, women empowerment, everything that you see around gender inequalities relates to ultimately achieving the sustainable development goals. And thus by 2030 2030 branding India model. Brand India. What is brand India? Brand India is that brand which has achieved sustainable development goals with a humongous population, with a population of 1.3 billion people in sustainable ways without coercing anything upon someone. That brand India would be India of tomorrow. That brand India would be India of 2030s. So this decade, 2020 to 2030, would be very important for India's growth trajectory. And we have already set in motion many things. We have demolished many notions of patriarchy by Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. We are now increasingly talking about in NEP also. We have built toilets for girls in the schools. In NEP also, we have put immense focus on these things. So now, what we are doing? Now we are saying that let's achieve these sustainable development goals and then let's become brand India. Brand India, which is high on economic development while achieving the sustainable development goals. And a big example of that is International Solar Alliance. Okay? So everything that you domestically bolsters your position globally. If you do financial inclusion, many companies of the world will see you as a huge market. They will see you 80 million people. Sorry, 800 million people. They would say 800 million people. 1 billion people have bank accounts. So imagine the kind of financial and level of financial inclusion we have and how many financial products people can sell here, from loans to everything. So imagine about sanitation. We nearly changed the face of India in last 6 years by Swachh Bharat. मैं अपने गांव जाता हूं तो मुझको जो लोग पहले लोटा लेकर के दिख जाते थे वो अब नहीं दिखते। हर घर में टॉयलेट है, ठीक है। कुछ लोग, ये जरूर है कि कुछ लोग आदतवश अभी भी जो है वो टॉयलेट्स का यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट एटलीस्ट हर घर में है, ठीक है। Sustainable development is something when we concerned about environment with development. Sustainable development is, the definition is right in a very simplistic way. However, sustainable development is not just protecting environment. Sustainable development is building capabilities for tomorrow to sustainably, efficiently use resources. Let me tell you something. Suppose population control bill. It is a step towards sustainable development goals. How many of you understand this point? Why? Why? Because your resources are burdened. You are not planning for tomorrow. You will overshoot. You will overconsumption. You will do overconsumption of your resources today. You are not planning for tomorrow. So building capabilities, capacities for tomorrow while protecting today. You would see plantation drive going on everywhere. Especially I have seen in UP that UP has planted some 20-25 million trees in the COVID time. Why? You see India achieving its nationally determined targets, and the global climate tracker saying that India is the only big country, only major economy. I highlight this term, India is the only major economy who is working effectively towards sustainable development goal. India is the architect of International Solar Alliance. India has successfully breached the goal of solar capacity creation 3 years before. In 2019 it was done. 2022 का टारगेट था. While also developing. So sustainable development goals is having an eye on development while doing responsible consumption of resources and building capabilities. Okay. Also, sustainable development goal cannot only be about environment, because if you would use environment as an obstruction, like in the case of EIA people are doing, then how would you remove poverty? हवा से आएगी, ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे पैसे आ जाएंगे. So how would you improve gender equality? There is a limit. Obviously there is a limit to green jobs. I'm not saying that you just demolish everything and build industries. I'm not saying that, but yes, there has to be a balance. When we say sustainable development is balance, we do not say that environment is kind of hijack the entire narrative of development. That can't happen. You die with hunger. We have a population to feed, 1.3 billion people. It is very good to sit in the AC rooms and say with a glass of champagne, oh yeah, is stupid. Propose alternate. Propose alternate. Because you are the same person who will cry about economy falling when we have such a EIA regime which do not grant permit. You would cry about FDI is leaving the country, because you are the same person who would cry about the FDI leaving. So idea is, yes, truly, it is about balance of environment and development. No one overtakes no one. Vikas, Achon Yadi. Okay. Okay. The thing is, if you are an economist, you would vouch for industries. If you are an industrialist, you would go for excessive environment protection. That is why you are made generalists. That is why you have to read everything. And that is why I always tell you to interrelate everything. क्योंकि जब आप इंटररिलेट करते हैं ना, खेल बदल जाता है. ठीक है, आगे. तो एक तो ये हो गया कि the impact of domestic achievements on global standing. इसका वन लाइनर ये है, the impact of domestic achievements on global standing as we are moving towards achieving sustainable development goals. Next. अच्छा, एक बात बताओ, what is आत्मनिर्भर भारत? Anybody? What is आत्मनिर्भर भारत? Why we need it? Self-reliant, लिपिका समझ गई हो, ठीक है. You know, what is Atmanirbhar Bharat? Let's understand. सुयोधन बिल्कुल सही, ठीक है. So earlier we said make in India, right? And people started investing in India, making in India. But what we saw was that there was investment from abroad in the Indian companies, and at times, most of the times, they dominated the Indian companies. India became an attractive place for investment, right? But the Indian capabilities, the Indian capacities did not develop. मतलब ये कि बाहर की कंपनियों को लगता था कि ये काम करने में इंडिया में फायदा है, तो वही काम यहाँ पर करती थी. They used to earn profit and leave. Let's imagine a thing. We talk about globalization. What globalization gave us? It made us a market for others. Ask yourself, did we benefit from globalization in the way that a South Korea or a Japan benefited? Yes or no? Did globalization help us in increasing our manufacturing capabilities? Yes or no? Did globalization help us in making an Indian model of industries, that we are good in manufacturing of this, we are good in manufacturing of that, we have this technology, this is Indian brand of technology? Do you hear that? Now ISRO have started doing things. Now DRDO has started doing things. That too, when they are treated as a very independent and very professional entities only then, right? And not some government controlled PSUs, right? What often people advocate. Okay? Idea is COVID came as a shock. When we saw that we do not make country of 1.3 billion people do not manufacture a single ventilator. That came as a shock. And that led us to believe that if we are to do something, it must be done now. So this Atmanirbharta, this self-sufficiency is not of 90s and 80s or 60s. This does not mean import substitution. What it means is that we would build our national capabilities. We would build our national capabilities so that our manufacturing base is higher, we can produce more, and when we produce more, we trade more with the world. We are more integrated in the global value chain. We are reaping more benefits of globalization. कितने लोगों को ये बात समझ आ रही है यहाँ तक? So this Atmanirbhar Bharat, about embarking on a journey, this Atmanirbhar Bharat embarks on a journey which says that we would make India a hub of manufacturing and other products from where India can trade more with the world. From where India can trade more with the world. Because when we say that we are to make India Atmanirbhar, we do not want to convey that no, we are not trading with anybody. No, we will build our global capabilities to reap the benefits of globalization. Now we won't be the market only. We would be the manufacturers and we will sell it to others. We won't be the victim of the new post-world order mode of colonialism. We would create national capabilities. We would make India a manufacturing hub. We would make India rely less on others for critical technologies, so that if next time any of these things come, any corona or any war or anything comes, we are self-reliant on most of the things. For most of the things, we do not have to look outside for these things. We have the capabilities to build them. So Atmanirbhar Bharat means building capabilities to reap benefits of globalization in the truest manner, to reap the benefit, to integrate with the global value chains in the truest manner. That is your Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is the new India you want to build. That is the new India you want to see. It is kind of going the Korea way, going the China way, going the Japanese way, going the German way, going the American way, where you first build capabilities, where you first build capabilities. Yes or no? Right. So that is Atmanirbhar, right? And now the highlight of the book, and after that we will start the book. What is India way? Let me ask. What is India way? The title of the book the minister has written is India way. The India way. What is this India way? Tell me. I explain these things to make the book easier for you. What is the India way? बताइए, बोलिए, आप लोग बोलते क्यों नहीं है? और बाकी लोग, what is this India way? ओ भाई, क्या चल रहा है? कुछ तो दिमाग में आ रहा होगा. Let me show you something. This is the website of United Nations, right? See the languages it offers translation into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6 languages they offer translation into, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the website of United Nations. United Nations, right? The biggest multilateral we have. Okay, let's talk about something else. This is Indian Solar Alliance, something which was built by India. Something which was built by India, right? Now, I am going to click on this select language button. You would understand what is India way. Do you see the languages? Do you see the languages? And you know the highlight is this Zulu. Zulu is the highlight. Why? There are many. There are many tribal languages. There is Somali, you know. Where is that? Yeah, Somali. Swahili, Tajik, Tatar, Odia, Nepali, Maori, Marathi, Maltese. This is the India way. India way is Antyodaya. India way is Antyodaya. India way is leaving no one behind. India way is taking everyone along. India way is not only focusing on the developed and mighty and people who sit on high tables. India way is accommodative. India way is trying to give due importance to every smallest player. India way is inclusiveness. India way is diversity. India way is cultural connect. India way is this soft power. India way is making them feel that they are important in the new world construct. India way is giving this kind of leadership. This is the India way. And this will be the India way when India leads the world, taking everyone along. Zulu is a tribal language, taking everyone along. From a tribe to the big languages, to the Sindhis, to the Polish and whatnot. This is the highlight of India. यहां तक कोई डाउट हो तो पूछिए. रंजीत, तुम्हारे साथ तो वो करने का मन कर रहा, जा पूछ क्या. ठीक है. So I am just saying that this is International Solar Alliance. See the amount of languages they offer. See China, simplified and Chinese traditional, right? And this is the United Nations website, and it gives their website only in 6 languages, right? So that is the difference between the Western ways of going by numbers and data analytics and only targeting those. Even they have, if they have gone by data analytics, then also they have included few others. Okay, so that is the Western way, going by the numbers. And what is India way? You just saw, from a tribal language to the smallest possible countries, taking everyone along is India way. Inclusiveness is India way. Diversity is India way, right? Making everyone feel important is India way. Now let's start. Got it? यार भाई, अपीजमेंट नाम की भी तो एक चीज होती है दुनिया में, है एक अपीजमेंट नाम की भी तो चीज होती है दुनिया में. अरे अभी ये क्या हुआ? एक मिनट रुकना जरा. एक तो पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है मेरे इसमें. So now we come on the book. Now see how we start it, right? Wisdom is to live in tune with the mode of the changing world. Thiruvalluvar. What we can learn from this? What we can learn from this? How you start your essays. How you start your essays. Because if you start your essays with a hard hitting quote, जो बिल्कुल सवाल जो इससे हमसे पूछा गया है हमको एकदम वहीं पर वो हिट करता है, तो एग्जामिनर को ना उस कोट से ही समझ में आ जाता है कि आपने एकदम सही जगह से इससे को पढ़ा, क्योंकि वो ये समझ जाता है कि इसने जो है ना वो सवाल को समझ लिया है, उल्टा सीधा नहीं लिख रहा है. तो वाई कोट्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट, वो एक लाइन में ये बता देते हैं कि आपका नंबर 1 मैसेज क्या है, नंबर 2 आपने सवाल को कितना सही से समझा है. So when he say that wisdom is to live in tune with the mode of the changing world, you can use it in, say, topic of a technology driven world, a topic of new world order, a topic of word is in the constant disarray, or especially after 2020 there would be these kind of topics जो बहुत डायनामिक होंगे और बहुत इस साल में जो कुछ हुआ है उनसे रिलेट होंगे, ठीक है। तो पहली चीज इज द थिंग दैट यू वांट टू से, just find one line, a dense one line that tries to convey it all. It does not have to be necessarily be from a थिंकर और बड़ा आदमी, आपकी भी हो सकती है, आप उसमें नाम ना डालें, सिर्फ इन्वर्टेड कॉमा डाल दें, एक अच्छी लाइन होनी चाहिए और उसके बाद में उसको जो है वो ऐसे लिख दें, लेकिन लाइन अच्छी होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। जनरली अच्छा ये होता है कि आप किसी इस तरह के बड़े आदमी की लाइन लिख दें, ठीक है, रिवॉल्वर की लाइन है ये, ठीक। फिर नाउ आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू द प्रीफेस, ठीक है। So directly come to the first chapter, the lessons of our. Now see how genius this mind is. So इनको बताना क्या था कि हमको स्ट्रेटेजिक कॉम्प्लिसेंसी नहीं रखनी है। चाइना हमारे बगल में है, हम उससे बॉर्डर शेयर करते हैं, वो लगातार अपने पावर्स को इंक्रीज कर रहा है। यूएसए और चाइना का वॉर चल रहा है, एज इन नॉट वॉर बट यस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रही है। They both are raising their resources, money and military might in these times. If we start looking inwards in these times, if we do not prepare ourselves for the changing world order, if we are playing chess, कितने लोगों को ये वाली स्टोरी पता है, शतरंज के खिलाड़ी बचपन में पढ़ी थी? कितने लोगों ने शतरंज के खिलाड़ी बचपन में पढ़ी है स्टोरी जो थी? कहानी क्या है कि दो नवाब हैं, ठीक है, और उनको शतरंज खेलने का बड़ा शौक है, ठीक है। तो पहले तो वो लोग जो है वो अपने घर पे शतरंज खेलते हैं, फिर क्या होता है कि चूंकि वो लोग दिन दिन भर खेलते रहते थे, ठीक है, कोई और काम नहीं करते थे, तो उनको लगता है कि यार यहाँ लोग परेशान बहुत कर रहे हैं। कभी जो है वो राज दरबार वाले आ जाते हैं, मिनिस्टर्स आ जाते हैं कि सर ये इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर आ गया, इसको देख लीजिए। कभी घर वाले कहते हैं कि भाई तुम तो नल्ले हो गए हो, कुछ काम कर लिया करो, ठीक है। तो अलग अलग इस तरह के इश्यूज जो है वो होते रहते हैं। तो उनको लगा नहीं ये ना सही चीज नहीं है, हमको बिल्कुल एकदम एकांत चाहिए। हम जो है वो किसी भी तरह का दखल अपने एंटरटेनमेंट में बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकते। तो वो क्या करते हैं, जंगल में चले जाते हैं और दोनों बैठ करके जंगल में डेली शतरंज खेलते रहते हैं और चेस खेलते हुए वहीं पर लड़ते हैं, वहीं अपना सब करते रहते हैं। इसी बीच में जो है वो अंग्रेज धीरे धीरे उनका जो अवध वो का जो उनका स्टेट होता है, धीरे धीरे वो उसकी तरफ बढ़ना चालू करते हैं और उसको कब्जा करने की कोशिश करने लगते हैं। तो डेली उनके पास मैसेजेस आते हैं कि सर अंग्रेज आ रहे हैं, अंग्रेज आ रहे हैं, अंग्रेज आ रहे हैं। अरे उनको लगता नहीं, पहले चेस खत्म हो जाना तो तब देखें, ठीक है। और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ब्रिटिश कनकर अवध और वो दोनों भाई लोग वहीं शतरंज खेलते हैं, शतरंज में ही लड़ाई कर लेते हैं चेस में, और वहीं एक दूसरे को मार देते हैं, मार के वहीं की कहानी खत्म हो जाती है। कहने का मतलब such level of strategic ignorance, such level of blindness, such lack of foresight, such lack of care for your state, your nation, we simply cannot afford this kind of complacency. Yes or no? Because if we have this kind of complacency, then what will happen is someone on our borders will try to keep strengthening itself, and others will also lobby against you, but you are playing shatranj, chess. You are looking inwards. What happened with India post 11th century? India was looking inwards. Before 11th century, India has a rich trade, humongous trade, interconnection with the world, sharing knowledge, sharing number systems, sharing Vedic wisdom. But after that, India is doomed. Why? India is looking inwards. Now India is insecure. Now India has few outsiders. जिनको इंडिया को लगता है कि यार ये पता नहीं, मतलब ये हमसे assimilate होंगे नहीं होंगे. They are so repulsive of our religion and our culture. So it is not that Indians became insecure or inward looking due to their own nature. Indians are very expressive. Indians are very connecting with their basic nature, right? But they were insecure due to rise of an alternate power जिनसे वो familiar नहीं थे, and you always fear unknown. Plus the powers which came to India, they were also so dismissive of your culture and repressive of your religion that they started killing people for pursuing a faith, or not a faith but many faiths, or anything that is not their faith, right? So that history of 900 years where you were dominated by a thought that does not acknowledge plurality of ideas. Have you read the letter of Hajjaj to Muhammad bin Qasim in 700? When Muhammad bin Qasim raided India in 741 AD, then after he captured Raja Dahir of Sindhu Pradesh, and he beheaded Raja Dahir and took his two daughters along, then before starting, he wrote a letter to his, whatever you can call it, Khalifa or whatever, to Hajjaj. And what Hajjaj writes in return is, do not spare anybody who does not bow in front of Islam. Kill everyone. Bring me heads. That is what he has written in the letter to Muhammad bin Qasim. So the idea is that initially, also later on, there is a great example of Bahadur Shah Zafar also, Amir Khusro, जो Indians थे, people who were Indians in the thought, people who have the Indic values were born here. Like Bahadur Shah Zafar ordered people to not observe Bakrid because that can result in the communal tensions during 1857 revolt. That is a huge, great example of Amir Khusro, of Abul Fazl. So idea is that initially when they were unknown, India started looking inwards. Later on, when they assimilated and everything happened, then there was a period of say 100 to 150 years, right, where it was not about Hindu Muslims. It finally came to being an Indian or non-Indian, you know, and people were repulsive of Afghans. In मतलब जो दिल्ली दरबार होता था मुगलों का, उसमें लोग जो है वो रिपल्सिव होते थे अफगान से, यार ये अफगान है, नहीं या तब ठीक है, मतलब इंडियन वो चाहिए, ठीक है. So the identity is like Amir Khusro was an Indian Muslim, right? सो ये लोग जो थे ना, इनकी प्रोमिनेंस आनी चालू हुई, तो वहां पर मुस्लिम हिंदू खत्म हो गया था, नॉट खत्म हो गया था बट बहुत कम हो गया था, वहां पर ये इंडियन और नॉन इंडियन आने लगा, राइट। बट द फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल, द लखनऊ पैक्ट and the Muslim League, and allowing Muslim League to run away with the propaganda that Muslim League ran, that was disastrous, and that created, मतलब जब मैं हिस्ट्री पढ़ाऊंगा तो मैं आपको पूरा बताऊंगा लखनऊ पैक्ट और इन सब के बारे में, but that created that, you know, divide, and that is why Savarkar said that this is wrong. This is wrong to divide national movement in Hindu and Muslims, because everyone who is residing east of Indus is Indic. इसका हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन होगा everyone which is reside, जो सिंधु नदी के पूर्व में रह रहा है वो हिंदू है। हिंदू कोई धर्म नहीं है, हिंदू तो जगत की आइडेंटिटी। So why you are dividing them? They all are the sons of the soil, the Indic soil, the Hindustani soil. So why you are dividing them, and why are you dividing national struggle? And you can see his foresight that he's saying this is in 1920, and 30 years later you have partition of the country, right? So that divisions started, that radical Islam that came, and in response to that, the protective Hinduism that rose of Hindu Mahasabha, that made the situation worse, right? So this inward looking behavior of India for the, say, 1,000 years, there was a challenge, and we need to get rid of this dogma as soon as we can, right? ठीक है, यहां तक कोई डाउट, कोई समस्या हो तो बताइए। Anybody? वर्तिका, आवाज आ रही है? बाकी लोग? ठीक है, चलिए 15 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं, ब्रेक के बाद वापस आते हैं, ठीक है? 9:05 पर वापस मिलेंगे।